Today I'm gonna read you the fairy tale, The House in the Forest. A poor woodcutter lived with his wife and 3 lovely daughters in a little hut on the edge of a lonely forest. One morning, as he was about to go to his work, he said to his wife, "Tell our eldest daughter to bring my dinner to me in the forest, for if I come home for it in the middle of the day, I shall never get my work done. So that she cannot get lost," he added, "I will take a bag of millet with me and strew the seeds along the path for her to follow." When the sun was high in the sky, the eldest daughter set out on her way with a bowl of soup. But the field sparrows and the wood sparrows, larks and finches, blackbird and sinskins had picked up the millet seeds hours before the girl could not find the track now. Trusting to chance, she went on and on until the sun sank and night began to fall. The trees rustled in the darkness, the owls hooted, and she began to be afraid. In the distance, she saw a light glimmering between the trees. Perhaps there are people living there who can take me in for the night," she thought, and walked towards the light, which turned out to be coming from a house. She knocked at the door, and a rough voice called, "Come in." She found an old man sitting at a table. His long white beard fell across the table and almost down to the ground. By the stove lay a hen and cockerel and a brindled cow. The girl asked for shelter for the night. The man said, "My pretty hen, my pretty cockerel, my pretty brindled cow, what do you say now?" "Ducks," answered the animals, and that must have meant yes. For the old man said to the girl, "Here you may have shelter and food. Go to the fire and cook us our supper." The girl found plenty of food in the kitchen and cooked a good supper for herself and the old man. But she didn't think of the animals. She ate, and when she'd had enough, she said, "Oh, no, I'm tired. Where is there a bed I can sleep in?" The animals replied, "You have eaten with him. You have drunk with him. You have had no thought for us, so you can find out for yourself where you can pass the night." The old man said, "Just go upstairs and you will find a bed." The girl went up and went to sleep. The old man went up a bit later and opened a trapdoor that dropped her down into the cellar. When the woodcutter came home, he confronted his wife for leaving him hungry all day. "It is not my fault," his wife replied. "Our eldest daughter went out with your dinner. She must have gotten lost, but I'm sure she will come back tomorrow." So the woodcutter asked for his second daughter to bring his dinner to him in the forest the next day. "I will take a bag of lentils and strew them on the path," he said. "They are larger than millet seeds, so the girl will see them better and won't lose her way." At dinner time, the second daughter carried the food out into the forest, but the lentils on the path had disappeared. The birds had pecked them up just as they had done with the millet the day before. The girl wandered in the forest until night, and then she too reached the house of the old man, where she asked for food and a bed. The old man asked again his animals, "My pretty hen, My pretty cockerel, my pretty brindlet cow, what do you say now?" The animals again replied, "Ducks," and everything happened just as it had happened the day before. The girl cooked a good meal, ate and drank with the old man, but did not think of the animals. And when she inquired about her bed, they answered, "You have eaten with him, you have drunk with him, you have had no thought of us, so you can find out for yourself where you can pass the night." When she was asleep, the old man came, looked at her, shook his head, and dropped her down into the cellar. On the third morning, the woodcutter said to his wife, "Send our youngest child out with my dinner today. She has always been a good and obedient, and will stay on the right path, instead of roving about like her sisters, the wild bumblebees." The mother did not want to send her dear third child in the case she became lost like the older two, but the father said he would strew some peas on the path, because peas are even larger than lentils, and they would show the girl the way. By the time the youngest daughter went out with her basket on her arm, the wood pigeons had pecked up all the peas, and she did not know which way to turn. She was full of sorrow, thinking all the time how hungry her father would be, and how sad her good mother would be if she could not find her way home. At length, when it grew dark, she saw the light and came to the house in the forest. She asked to spend the night there, and the man with the long beard again asked his animals, "My pretty hen, my pretty cockerel, my pretty brindlet cow, what do you say now?" "Ducks," they replied. Then the girl went and petted the cockerel and hen, stroking their smooth feathers with her hand, and she caressed the brindlet cow between her horns. When she had made some soup, she said, "Aren't the good animals having something? Outside there is plenty of food. I will look after them before I have my own supper." She stewed barley for the cockerel and hen, and brought in an armful of sweet-smelling hay for the cow. Then she fetched a bucket full of water in case they were thirsty. When the animals were fed, the girl sat at a table by the old man and ate her soup. Then she asked where she could go to bed. The animals replied this time, "You have eaten with us. You have drunk with us. You have had kind thought for all of us. We wish you a good night." She went upstairs, said her prayers, and fell asleep. She slept quietly till midnight, but then was woken by the sound of cracking and splitting in every corner of the house. The doors sprang open and beat against the walls. The beams groaned as if they were being torn out of their joints. It seemed as if the staircase was falling down, and there was a crash as if the entire roof had fallen in. But when all grew quiet once more, the girl realized she was not hurt, and she fell asleep again. When she woke in the morning with the brilliant sunshine, what did she see? She was lying in a vast hall, and everything around her shone with royal splendor. Golden flowers woven in silk tapestry hung on the walls. Her bed was made of ivory with a canopy of red velvet, and on a chair close by was a pair of slippers embroidered with pearls. The girl thought she must still be dreaming, but 3 richly clothed servants came in and asked what they could do for her. She replied, "Where is the old man? I will get up at once and make some soup for him, and then I will feed the pretty hen and the pretty cockerel and the pretty brindled cow." But instead of the old man with the long beard, a young, handsome man came to her. He said, "I am a king's son. I was bewitched by a wicked witch and made to live in this forest as an old bearded man. No one was allowed to be with me but my 3 servants in the form of a hen, a cockerel, and a brindled cow. The spell could not be broken until a girl came to us whose heart was so good that she showed herself full of love, not only towards other people, but also towards animals. You have done this. At midnight we were set free, and the old hut in the forest changed back again into my royal palace." The king's son ordered the 3 servants to bring the girl's father and mother to the palace for the marriage feast. "But where are my 2 sisters?" asked the girl. The king's son replied, "I have locked them in the cellar, but tomorrow they will go and live as servants on a farm beyond the forest, where they will learn to be kind and not to leave poor animals hungry."